Welcome to the Fairhaven Board of Selectmen meeting for Monday, December 5th, 2016. The first order of business is to stand, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. This meeting is being broadcast and or taped by the Government Access Channel. It is being taped by Government Access Channel. Any member of the public also has a right to make an audio or video recording of the open session of this public meeting. A member of the public who wishes to record this meeting must first notify the chair and must comply with any reasonable requirements so as to not interfere with the meeting. The chair is required to inform other attendees of any such recording at the beginning of this meeting, and we are also audio recording this for our records.
Mr. Chairman, a late addition to the agenda, with your permission, is under action item, additional item 5, permission to use town streets for St. Joseph's Parish.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. We'll put that on. We'll add that on agenda. All right. Now we have the minutes. Approve the release of redacted executive session minutes for the meetings of March 16th, March 30th, and April 8th. Is there a motion to release the redacted minutes?
Can we do one motion for all three, like that?
Okay, Mark, we can do one motion for all
Yes.
three.
Mhm.
Okay, I'd like to make that motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll call for vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It passes unanimously. Next, vote to amend the minutes of November 7th, 2016 meeting in open session.
To clarify, it was just I identified someone as being Mr. Reese instead of
Tutera.
Mr.
Yeah. I'd like it to make a motion to amend the November 7th meeting notes in open session as noted.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. Next, the approval of the minutes of November 21st, 2016 meeting in open session. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passed unanimously. And lastly, we have the approval of the minutes of November 21st, 2016 meeting in executive session. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It passes unanimously. Now, Mr. Reese, our town administrator's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I talked with the payroll department last week, and they will be able to accommodate that holiday for health insurance premiums in December as opposed to January. So
Great.
we
Very
got the
good.
word out to the
Yes,
employees
thank you.
today. We continue to roll out our employee assistance program with our vendor Outlook EAP, meeting with department directors on November 29th to explain the program to them and to provide a training session entitled Recognizing and Intervening with the Troubled Employee, the supervisor's role. One of the positive things we saw about the Outlook EAP is that they go beyond the traditional employee assistance program and actually act as a human resources resource for us. As you know, we don't have a human resources department, so having them give us advice on broader issues related to human resources is a great thing as well.
Yeah.
Non-union employee descriptions have been finalized, and we'll be meeting with our consultant, Laurel Ridge Consulting, to begin the next phase, which will be classifying the positions into different grades based on levels of responsibility. We have resolved a potential problem with Fairhaven Shipyard having to do with their plans to construct a 14 by 425-foot floating pier adjacent to the town-owned Union Wharf, and our plan to construct a centralized location for our town's various boats. Working with our engineers, Bill Roth and Tim Cox, we're able to revise our plans to allow for our berthing requirements while still maintaining a 30-foot passageway between both our structures to allow for safe travel. 2 meetings were held last week with Stratford Development Corporation, a company that is redeveloping the Oxford School into elderly housing. The first meeting on Tuesday, November 29th, in which Bill Roth and I attended, was to review their initial submission for a comprehensive 40B permit. We discussed issues relating to the required lighting, landscape, and storm water drainage report, as well as the design and location of the town-owned parking lot. We are tentatively moving towards the first public hearing for the ZBA for the 40B in early January, probably the first week of January. We'll get something official out to you as soon as we tie that down. The second meeting was a telephone conference call on Thursday, December 1st, where Selectman Espandola, Bill Roth, and I discussed with Stratford their pending Community Preservation Act funds. I plan to attend their CPC meeting where the request will be discussed and express my support, somewhat modified from the request for their funding request. After our consultation with Kirk and Company, our reuse consultant for the Rogers School, we have scheduled our second of 3 public meetings for Thursday, January 5th at 6:30 p.m. to present their initial draft report with their preliminary findings about the potential future reuses of the Rogers School. So we're moving along in that direction. At the board's direction, I have completed as of this afternoon the process of applying to the state to be part of the Community Compact Program. The program allows the town to partner with the state on implementing best practices and to gain a preference on certain state grants. After reviewing the Selectmen's policy goals, the 3 best practices I will be submitting for consideration are 1, creating an economic development plan, 2, developing employee policies and procedures, and 3, developing a municipal school IT consolidation strategy. Speaking of that, one of the training sessions that will be scheduled in December is I've contracted with a management consultant that I've used previously, very well regarded, a gentleman by the name of Mark Way, and he'll be coming in and doing 2 training sessions for our department heads on tying their objectives to the policy goals of the Board of Selectmen as well as their budget submissions. So looking forward for that training.
Excuse me, Mr. Reese, what was the name of that?
Mark Way, M-A-R-C, W-E-Y.
EY.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And finally, we got some good news from the courts today. The Huddleston Motel matter has been adjudicated in our favor. This is the decision that came out today. It requires that the owner of the property, actually not the owner of the property, the leasing of the property, lessor of the property, who has requirements to maintain the buildings, ceases operations as of January 31st of 2017, as well as to pay costs to the town for some of our costs associated with bringing this forward. So it was also determined that he did work without appropriate permits, and he was appropriately chastised in this decision as well for that. So, good news.
Yes, very good news.
And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Reese?
No, thank you.
Something for us?
All set, thank you.
Okay, we're going to get right into our C action. Vote to accept donation to the Academy Building in the amount of $6,550 from Alvanac.
Yes, just as background, recently Mr. Albenack and Ms. Gail Agson donated money to pay for the exterior painting of the town-owned Academy Building. Even though this work has already been completed, the Board of Selectmen, for the record, should vote to formally accept this donation. I'm also recommending the board also direct me to send them an appropriate thank you note or letter thanking them for this very generous donation.
Absolutely.
This is fantastic. I wonder if we might just explain a little bit about, what this entails.
Well, as the Academy Building, as you know, the exterior was deteriorating significantly, and there was some debate on town meeting floor as to which was the best avenue to go about doing it, whether to remove the placards and replace them, or to paint them, or scrape them and paint them with the appropriate paint and primer. So Mr. Benak and Ms. Isaacson, who were advocating for the painting, obviously stepped up to the plate and agreed that they would pay for it on behalf of the town. So, or on behalf for the town to make the building, obviously, so when anybody's driven by it, it looks very nice, and hopefully it'll stay that way for quite some time.
Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was hoping you would do. Just to summarize that, I've followed a little bit of it, some of it from the Historic Commission meetings, but I just thought it'd be helpful for others to know. So I'm in favor of accepting the donation, of course.
I want to thank Mr. Benak. He's in the audience right now, and for many years he's done a lot of good things throughout the town. And Ms. Isaacson, every time we've needed something, we can always count on them for helping out or whatever we need. So thank you. Thank you for doing this, and if Ms. Isaacson, if she's listening, I would like to thank her for helping out also. I think it's an incredible thing you guys did. Thank you.
Mr. Benak, do you want to share anything?
Yes. The Academy building has been a mainstay in this town for a good number of years. In fact, the Paul Revere Bell, when it was purchased, was to come to and dropped off at the dock here and go to the Academy building for delivery. Then in 1907, it was moved over to where the high school is now and where the Academy building is. And that was 1907. It was given to the town by Henry Huddleston Rogers. In 2007, I had a book signing in the building. So it does 100 years later. So this way here, it had a little touch, a personal touch to me. So as time went on, the building started to get in disrepair, and unfortunately, it lost money at town meeting last year. So looking at the building deteriorating, I just could not stand it any longer. So Gail and I put our heads together, and I did the south side, and she painted the west side, and that's how it ended up. So I thank everybody, and I hope we don't have to go through this again.
Well, we thank you.
Yes.
We thank you for your commitment to our town and to our history of our town. So is there a motion to accept the donation? We have to do this separate acceptance for the donation of the Academy building in the amount of $6,550 from Al Benak.
I would gladly like to accept that donation and make a motion to do so.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Here now we'll call for vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously with our many thanks.
Thank you.
And gratitude.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have to vote to accept a donation for the Academy building in the amount of $4,850 from Gail Isaacson, another great resident who makes sure our town is kept in good shape.
Like Mr. Reese said, she stepped up to the plate as well, so I'd like to thank her and make a motion to accept the donation, $4,850 from Ms.
Second.
Isaacson for the Academy building.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Here now we'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously, and we greatly thank you once again. And as directed, Mr. Reese will send a formal thank you note on behalf of the town of Fairhaven. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I know Gail Isaacson will appreciate it very much.
Yes. Well, we appreciate her. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
We do have employment at 6:45. It had to be bumped up because
Oh,
the
okay.
fire union has a meeting later at their own.
Oh, thank you very much.
Royal Commission.
Absolutely. Yes, thank you for bringing that to my attention.
I realized it was getting to be that time, so, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for. All right.
Chief Desiree from the Coast Guard showed up, so
These are all the
I'll
same,
point him
right?
out when he comes through
They're
the
all
door,
the
so Charlie could. Or
Okay.
should I tell Charlie?
Why don't you tell Charlie that? Chief.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Chief Desiree from the Coast Guard's here. See the chief, just call him Chief Desiree, the guy with the white, the blue coat with the white hat.
This one right here.
Yeah.
Chief Desiree.
You good on the alcohol?
Yeah.
What Tim, Chief from the Coast Guard.
Yeah, from the second. Yeah, just say U.S. Coast Guard.
Yeah, yeah.
Chief Desiree.
So are you gonna start out by, how would you
How
like?
do you want to do this?
Would you like to start it out?
I don't care. Do you want me to start it, or do you want to start it?
Well, we can start it, but we'll bring you up to talk about
Okay.
that night.
Okay.
All right? How's that sound?
No, he's not. So, the only one that's not here is the fire chief.
And do we have a list?
They're all the same.
Big crowd?
Huh? Oh, yeah.
And do we have a listing of the names of everyone that was there, or?
It's gonna be in the citations, we'll just read the citation.
Oh,
for
This guy right here.
Okay, great.
Give it a
All right, great.
Give it a thumbs up. Stop that, Tom.
Well, thank you for gathering here tonight. It's a little bit after 6:45, and we're very honored to have many people here tonight. If everyone viewing at home and here can tell that tonight what we're going to do is recognize those who saved the crew of the Captain Jeff on November 20th, 2016. And it's an amazing thing to go and do your job, but it's an amazing thing to do your job, save a life, and be so excellent at what you do, for everything that you do. We are very honored to have Chief Desiree here from the U.S. Coast Guard. Let's give him a round of applause, please. And our harbor master, of course, who's always on the run here, Tim Cox. If you can come forward, Tim, and talk a little bit about the events that happened that night.
How we doing, guys? Yeah, so 2 Sundays ago, we got a call at about 9:40, 9:30 in the morning that a fishing vessel was sinking. We responded. We got on scene. The Coast Guard was just showing up. Rescue swimmer got on the boat. They put pumps on from the helicopter. They determined, after they got the pumps working and stuff, they determined that the boat was not going to be able to be salvaged right at that minute. So they wanted to pull the people off. So it was at that point, in the beginning, I was on the New Bedford Harbor Master boat with my son Todd and Brian Joseph, the Assistant Harbor Master from New Bedford, and a towboat showed up. We all kind of got there at the same time. Clint Allen. Clint was by himself, so Clint had the boat that was probably the best fit at that moment to get in there. So we transferred my son onto Clint's boat, and the two of them did some pretty amazing maneuvering, getting in and out of there, and they pulled all 6 fishermen off the boat. Rescue swimmer hit the water. They hauled him up. They rushed the crewman in, and me and Brian Joseph from the city of New Bedford kind of stayed out there and babysat the boat the rest of the day until Tucker Roy came out with their tugs and put a line on her and pulled her in. If it wasn't for them guys, another half an hour to an hour, she probably would have been on West Island. So them guys worked hard at it, and it wasn't. If you guys remember that day, it was a real nasty day. It was not one of the good days. But usually we don't get to go out on good days. We usually get called out on the crummy days. So yeah, everybody behind me is the people that did the work. They all showed up and did it.
That's great. Captain Chief Desiree, would you like to share a few words?
Sure, I certainly would. I mean, obviously, I'm the officer in charge of Coast Guard Station Patrol, and we have the privilege of having over 24,000 miles of coastline. Unfortunately, without harbor masters, without the local entities, firefighters, police, even towboat, our job would be near impossible to be able to be done. We respond to thousands and thousands and thousands of SAR cases each year, more and more. It's the harbor masters, the task force, and the local communities that are helping us create the SAR system. We definitely like to thank you guys for funding it, and hopefully the continued funding of this organization to be able to move forward and keep going.
Thank you. Thank you. And Chief Francis, would you like to share anything?
Basically, as you can see, our training does pay off. We're always out there doing training. We do it as groups with the Coast Guard, with towboat, with the city and the other entities that we deal with. Fairhaven alone has 29 miles of coastline, so we're busy out there with the harbor master. We do a lot of training, and it's times like this when it pays off. We're able to get some people off the boat where there was no injuries to anybody severe. They were brought into Fairhaven here where our medics checked them all out before allowing them to be released either to the hospital or to wherever they were going to go. So I think everything went pretty smoothly considering everything that happened. And it just lets me know that the training does pay off. At the end of the day, we're doing what we're supposed to be doing and we're getting things done.
Thank you, Chief.
Just on another word, I mean, I didn't mention our fireboat was out there, and New Bedford Fire was out there, and they had our backs on whatever was going on. You know what I mean? I mean, we gave Brian Messier a bad time because he was on the opposite side of the boat, and he would yell on the radio when a wave was coming. At the time, people were like, "Oh my God, get off the radio!" But it was good that he was doing that, so the boats on the opposite side of the boat that couldn't see the waves could brace themselves and figure out what's going on. So, Brian, we still love you, buddy. But no, both Faven Fire, New Bedford Fire, we're out there to assist, and I mean, we all work. It's unbelievable how good we work together. So
That's excellent. Excellent. Selectman Espadilla.
Just congratulations, thank you, for what you guys do, and, it really, I think for the average person might not realize what kind of danger there is when you're doing that, like transferring people from vessel to vessel and those kind of conditions, the safety concerns that there are for everyone involved, and when you're dealing with a fishing vessel as large as it is, and it's at that point where it could literally go under any moment, all the force that's involved, and there's a lot of danger that you guys put yourself into when you go there to rescue someone, and that's certainly not lost on me. And everyone's sitting at home on their couch watching football or something like that. You guys are out there, risking your lives, and it's really, that's why I'm glad we're able to recognize you on a night like this.
thank you.
And New Bedford Fire Chief is here also.
No, the
No.
New Bedford Fire Chief, Steve is not here, right? Steve?
Yeah, okay.
Chief Gomes did not make it.
Okay. Is there a representative from New Bedford that would like
Yeah,
to
there's,
to speak?
Steve, you wanna say a few words, or?
Yeah, I'm Captain Durst with the Fire Department, I run the Marine unit, and all the communities do a great job working together, all the entities, and just good job, guys. Plus a big task force, Coast Guard leads that way, and we just get it done. So, that's all I gotta say.
Thank you. Thank you. Selectman Freitas.
Yeah, it's good that Bob brought up that, Bob being home on the couch watching football, because that's about the time I was seeing the video of it, and I would have, Captain Mike up there from Towboat US would have can tell you, I would have been the guy over the side throwing up the whole time, been useless. So, there you go. So, I appreciate the work you guys do. It's good, the work that everybody did, public, private, the whole 9 yards. So, you guys, you true heroes that do this stuff every day. So, thank you.
I have a quick little funny story. I don't know Brian, what time was that? What time was that when we came in, about 8 o'clock with the boom?
Yeah.
So we came into, we had boomed off the boat while they were dewatering it, and unbeknownst to me, a couple people called us while we were off of New Bedford and offered us food. All I had was a cup of coffee that morning when I left the house. And thank God there was a pack of gum on the dashboard. We were out there 11 hours. So when we came in with the boom that we had boomed off the boat, my daughter was standing on the pier at Union